This week on Spotlight, how murals shape communities through art and storytelling. A vibrant mural bringing the community together through conversation, connection, and hope. Plus, the meaning hidden inside this 35-foot-tall mural. But first, how one father-daughter duo is brightening the area with art.
This rooftop garden has been nourishing body and soul for years, but it was completely obscured to passers-by until now.
Urban Harvest STL has long dreamed of beautifying the streetscape here at the Food Roof Farm. Food Roof Farm was built in 2015 and has continued to attract people for years. However, we realized from the street we weren't largely visible.
So they reached out to father and daughter team Robert and Liza Fishbone to create an eye-catching mural.
Each mural that we do is site-specific. We look at what happens in the area, what kind of people live here, is there a rich history we can tap into, what's the mission or the goal or the vision of the client.
So Urban Harvest STL exists to grow food and grow community, and I think that aspect of community growth is really tapped into with the mural.
This father and daughter team came together at the urging of Liza, a multidisciplinary artist in her own right, living in Austin, Texas, while Robert, a prolific visual artist, has been involved in over 200 mural projects, much of them with his late wife, Sarah.
This opportunity arose that my daughter caught wind of, and it was a contest here in St. Louis to design a mural for the west-facing wall of KDHX radio. I told Liza, I just don't think we could pull this off. And then 3 days before the application was due, she called me back. She goes, come on, dear, we got to enter. It's a lot of money. And besides, I want to learn how to paint big murals from you. Well, how could a father say no, right?
He has all of this old school knowledge. He's been doing this for over 40 years. And I come at it from like a younger place and a different kind of style. So it's a really cool collaboration.
Working with my daughter was a whole new relationship for us, and it really deepened our connection. If we weren't father and daughter, we'd be really best friends.
It took a lot of planning to transform this once bland building into this vibrant work of art.
We hosted him here at the Food Roof and sat amongst the plants and talked about the work Urban Harvest is doing in the community. From that conversation, we pulled the concept of nourishment. Food as nourishment, community as nourishment, and also art as nourishment.
The design process in any art is really pretty mysterious. It's like, how are you going to interpret this thing that, is maybe somewhat undefinable? And that's really where the art comes in, is how do we take our impressions, how do we take the goals, the building, the area, and filter it through the sum total of our experience and come up with something that's fresh and new and nourishing.
Not only did he look at our building from the exterior, looking at it from the street, but he also wanted to see the eyes of our own building out to the city and what it saw. And some of those elements are visible in the work that he ultimately ended up producing.
First was, let's create a mural that people will stop and go, whoa, what is this place? We wanted to embody some of their mission and about the plants that they grow on the roof. So the mural design is kind of psychedelic, but it's a little more peaceful than the other walls that we've done. And it has 4 of the flowers that we found on the roof. And then it also includes some design motifs that are inspired by the architecture surrounding the building.
I'd like to point out a few things of significance in the mural. The first is the entranceway, which we saw as a portal. And so we did this very ornate combination of architectural elements that we saw on buildings in the neighborhood. And then we just created this opening. And we left the center a little bit simple so that your eye is drawn towards it and not confused. The flowers that we picked they're not vegetables, which are what are grown on the roof. They're actually flowers that attract pollinators, which is, of course, one of the most important issues facing anyone growing food today is how do you attract pollinators for your garden? Then all the way up in the upper left, you'll see these little bubbles. And that's something that we just like to add to our murals. They give it a sense of lightness and mystery and wonder and whimsy and fantasy. And then the mural is done in a way to make it look like the building is cut away and you can see actually into the building. And that's one of the reasons why we have the green go behind the portal and then back. So it really looks like the portal is a freestanding element. One of the challenges that all mural painters have to deal with is how do we take our design and make it really big on the wall? There are several different techniques that are used. The easiest one is we take our design, then we do a black line tracing of everything in it, so it looks like a coloring book, and we photograph that and we throw it up with a video projector.
Since this project was about growing both food and community members were invited to participate in the painting process, including volunteers from Wells Fargo and even passers-by who wanted to help. So what happened if they messed up?
It's paint, we just paint over it.
Another challenge is impermanence. Much of Robert and Sarah's work has been lost to time, deterioration, and rehab.
Everything is impermanent. It took us a while to really adopt that as mural painters. The first few years, we had a lot of work up. It stayed in great shape. When our Lindy Squared mural got torn down, it really hit us hard. We didn't quite understand how important it was, not just to the city, but to us. And we just realized, okay, they're here, they're gone, it's our job. And so we had to make this transition.
But for today and into the distant future,
It's become a community asset. It's at a street corner that's heavily trafficked here in St. Louis and invites people to just sort of celebrate the colorfulness and the vibrancy of the city.
It's all about elevating people's spirits.
HEC Media has 6 YouTube channels, including science, history, art, authors, Black History, Achievement, and Culture, and all things St. Louis. Find your favorite, then scroll down to explore HEC Media's other partner channels, all on YouTube.
So my background as an artist is I am a photographer, and I also I make things with my hands. I make sculptures, jewelry, I paint.
I graduated from architecture school in Colombia, but I was always interested in color and art techniques. So I have been since 2012 an artist.
When I started my career, when I started business, in my family, art was not considered a career. It was a hobby. So when I moved to St. Louis, I decided to do my art career.
I've always been interested through my work to highlight the need for representation and the need to understand migration as a human need, especially in today's state. All 4 of the artists that are working on this project, we all belong to this group of artists in St. Louis called Latinx Art Network.
The Latinx Arts Network is a group of Hispanic or Latinx artists and artist allies. The purpose of the group is to support each other and also help create opportunities for our artists and our arts community.
Yes, we formed our committee in one of the Latinx meetings. We were talking about things that we wanted to do, and somebody brought up that they would like a mural, and I think it sparked all of our interests.
What inspired the mural? There was some narrative on the news about children separated from parents at the border. We felt that we want to do something to change this stereotype of the immigrants and people at the border.
Through the mural, I intended to make a female child, be important and take center stage.
Our girl is an Afro-Latin looking at the sky and looking for hope. That's why we have a blue, bright sky.
We introduced items, for example, African baskets, which were very much aware of the African culture being a predecessor of all of our cultures in Latin America.
When we got the location Del Mar, we were aware of the African American community, so we included the baskets because we want to just honor the area.
We also have a flower that is native to Missouri, I believe.
I always feel that flower signifies the cycle of life and the beauty, and to know that the beauty is not forever and you go to the earth again and then you're reborn again.
We include some papel picado, which is very typical from Mexico. It's very festive, it looks like fiesta. We include the trolley is there. It's because it's kind of fun. People can take a picture, trying to get into the trolley, and San Luis Arc. Those two elements, kind of to make, like the stamp, the mural is in San Luis.
One of the characteristics of both the iguana and the monarch butterfly, both species that are able to adapt to different situations, different weathers, different environments. So we thought, how about that? Because we have those species in our countries and they reflect on that ability to blend in, ability to live in different environments.
We had so much feedback. Everybody that walked by was always saying, "Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for doing it."
One guy in particular said that he loved the fact that the girl in the mural was of darker skin. He loved that, and he said because he doesn't see that ever.
We hope that the community will continue to feel embraced by the message of the mural and that they will stop by and take photographs, take their children, their students, and basically have a conversation. What does this inspire to you? How do you see it? What is the thing that strikes you?
No matter how different we are or how diverse we are, it's always something that brings us together. I think it's some level of loving life, happiness. It's always colorful.
Like I say, por amor al arte, for the love of art.
HEC Media, recognized, celebrated, honored time and again for excellence in the industry. Find all of the award-winning content at hecmedia.org.
My name is FNNCH, and I'm a street artist in San Francisco. I paint what I call contemporary pop art, which is meant to be specific enough to give you some idea of what I do, but vague enough that I can kind of do whatever I want. But it's typically either everyday objects or it's objects from nature. Pop art is that there are these objects around us that are inherently beautiful, and it takes the artist to point a finger at it and ask you to view it like art. There's a lot of care that goes into these objects, and so maybe you feel a little bit more loved if you realize that we're kind of surrounded by designed objects. You kind of take it all for granted because there's just too many objects to really think about, but the artist just asks you to look at one, maybe for a point in time. To me, street art is just like a tool to get to somewhere that's better. Concrete is canvas, walls are canvas. The interest of artists in creating public art is enormous, but the willingness of landlords to permit their walls to be painted is actually quite low. To me, it's just like a concept that needs to be spread. And so partly I hope with my work that when someone sees that, they're like, oh, I really like that. And so it's kind of just trying to acclimate people to it. And then hopefully we end up in a world where if the building is not historical or architecturally interesting, there's a lot of like Soviet era, 1970s, brutalist concrete monoliths that are just perfect canvases because they're totally flat, right? And yeah, like we should just paint those, all of them. So this is a 35 by 50 foot mural that is comprised of 4 honey bears. They are artist bear, which sort of represent the Centene Center for the Arts and the Arts and Education Council and activities that happen within this building. There's the violin bear to kind of represent the Powell Symphony Hall and the Fox Theater and the Sheldon, which are all nearby. Then there's the blues bear just to commemorate the fact that the Blues won the Stanley Cup. And then the last one is the Fancy Bear, I call it. Some people call it Top Hat Bear. And that's sort of the Gilded Age history of St. Louis. I call it a universal symbol of happiness. It's something that we all had as children. It's a very surreal object. Like, why is there honey in a bear? You know, it doesn't make any sense, and I like that about it. So again, it's pointing the finger at the object and being like, think about this object as an art object. So when I first painted it, it was done on a park wall, and people really had a strong positive response. So then I went out and started painting them on mailboxes in the Mission District of San Francisco. And after maybe one night more or 2 nights more of doing them, I was like, this kind of feels like graffiti. It's like repeating the same image over and over again. And I wanted to do something that was like that because we like repetition, but I wanted to make it where you're kind of in on the game. And then now I've realized that I can just tell stories with the bears. So in this case, I can adapt it to the building and the community. It's a very adaptable image, but it still has this kind of underlying whimsy.
HEC has been bringing you positive programming and award-winning content for decades. Arts, education, culture, in-depth discussions, films, and more. All in one place, hecmedia.org.
Aesthetics are a big part of what makes a thriving downtown.
Residents in the Riverbend have enjoyed beautiful murals around town for years, but there is a new mural dotting the local landscape. It is called the Alton Flyaway.
I really like doing this one. It was pleasant to do. Everything about it, I mean, the town was very welcoming, which is important.
Robert Fishbone was responsible for bringing the design of the Alton Flyaway to life, although the actual rendering belonged to James Schmidt, who designed it in 2009.
My father loved modern design and abstraction, and so it's a real reflection of his great vision and his style.
James Schmidt served as head of the art department at Principia College in Elsa, Illinois. He passed away in 2013. The school now has an art gallery that bears his name. His daughter, Penny, owns the building where the Alton Flyaway soars high, some 3 stories into the air.
It's a lovely tribute to his vision and also an expression of the community, sense of the river, the uplift of being on the Mississippi Flyway, and this community of gulls that is circling around and up into the air.
She, I think, in her heart, knew that she wanted this done someday, and all the right forces came together, and she got in touch with me, and with the help of the Audubon Society and a number of donors, we made it happen.
So this Flyway mural is up to interpretation, but I believe that it's mostly gulls, terns, and some raptors. These are a lot of those white birds that you might see flying over the river. The region that we live in is just an amazing space along the Mississippi River. We're very lucky to be in this Alton region because we're really at the center of the middle of one of the biggest watersheds in the world.
It took artist and painter Robert Fishbone and his 2 assistants 5 weeks and nearly 30 gallons of paint to bring the Alton Flyaway to life.
The more planning that's done on any kind of public art project, the smoother it'll go.
The city of Alton is home to nearly 24 murals, with each one telling a unique story. Last year, a few of them earned Alton Main Street a prestigious award.
Specifically, the award that we got from the Lieutenant Governor was for the mini mural grant program that we conducted a couple of years ago that resulted in a few of the murals that we are seeing today.
This includes the Sunset Mural, the You Are Enough mural, and the Small Mural, which was previously a utility box.
And all of the business owners that are in the vicinity are always really excited because extra foot traffic always translates into more customers.
Robert Fishbone and his wife moved to St. Louis in 1973 and launched their company On the Wall Productions a year later. Fast forward 50 years, he can say he's produced some 200 murals, and you have probably seen some of his work.
We did this one at Charles Lindbergh, which was a pixelated image in 1977, and became this amazing landmark in St. Louis. It was only up for 4 years. The most recent one my daughter and I did in Clayton, Missouri. It was Clayton's first mural. It's next to a playground, and it features a very large bumblebee on a swing. And my daughter did most of the detail. It's incredible looking.
Everybody loves to see a splash of color. Murals are what gives a community its personality.
Next week, could leaf-inspired plastic help solve a global waste problem? Plus, inside the exclusive event connecting investors and innovators. Thanks for watching Spotlight. Join us for a brand new episode on Thursday.